Hello, my true crime lovelies. I hope you are well. I don't know if anybody's here. I just got a text message from Kathy that the verdict is in. They're waiting on family. I just walked in the door, but I was like, oh, I got to talk to somebody. So, Lori was a little bit huffy when asking about the aggravation. Like, she already thinks she's guilty, maybe? Because I don't know why she was so mad. Why are you mad, girl? She wanted to stipulate to not have it. And so the judge said, you know what? Well, why don't we wait on the verdict, ma'am? And then we'll get to all the foolishness. So, hello, can you guys hear me all right? Okay, all right. Can you guys hear me all right? Oh my God, I'm tongue twisted. I'm glad it came in today. I was getting nervous. I was trying to talk myself down, like, well, maybe they are reading the Loin Fire book, or maybe they're, hi, Jane. Hey, Billy. Purple Irish sweater. Hey. I think Kathy is by a pool, purple Irish sweater. I just saw her post a video. Oh my gosh. South Wales. Oh wow. Almost midnight there. So good to see you guys all. Oh my goodness. Sorry for the last minute pop up, but I'm was in the chat at Idaho News and I was like, I need to talk to somebody. Hey Larry, coming in from Texas. Oh, I like that with the little cowboy hat. That's cute. Oh my goodness. Hey, honeybee. So I don't know, you guys. What do you think? Did you guys already see the part where Lori was getting snippy? I think we're waiting on Kay and I don't know who else is there from the Vallow family. Ooh, New Zealand. Hi, Susie. Uh, well, thank you for being here, Yvonne, because I definitely am like, oh, what's going to happen? What do you guys think? We should do a poll. Like, is this just the right amount of time to find that heifer guilty? Or are we in danger? I am like, oh my goodness. And then, so it was two men who were pulled from the jury. So we do have the remaining two women that were in there are still on the jury. Let me see if I can figure out how to get a poll going here. Everybody's gonna go crazy right now. I'm gonna mute myself for 1 second. I hope you're right, Court Barton. I hope you are right. Hey, Pamela, glad you made it too. Oh my God. From Kansas. You're not in Kansas anymore. Wizard of Oz, my favorite story of all time. Ooh, Tennessee. Hello. I haven't been to Tennessee in a minute since before the pandemic. Yeah. Okay. Come around this side and I'll pick you up. Can you come over here? Come on this side. So you don't step on any cords. Yeah. Okay. We're waiting on the guilty lady, honey. Yeah. Oh my goodness, guys. 96% guilty. Okay. Didn't she have another hot mic moment before the judge mentioned waiting? I missed it, honeybee. I kind of want to go back, but then I don't want to. I've got it on my phone over here. I don't understand why she was so agitated about the aggravated. Ma'am, you don't need to be aggravated. It's the aggravation phase of the trial. Hey, Muckle Mule. I like that name. Oh my God. Yes, that is definitely liberty. Justice for the Vallow family. Hampshire. Or is it Hampshire, since you're in the UK? Hey, Cherry B. I know, I agree with you, justice for the Vallow family, because a lot of people, I was getting annoyed in chats yesterday with the closing. We're like, what is it? What does it even matter? She has all these life sentences. It matters for the Vallow family. Hey, Becca from Pennsylvania. And I honestly feel like I know I'm Monday morning quarterbacking, but maybe if they had investigated more seriously, that would have put a stop to Lori and all of her cult followers. But I feel like, I don't know if she did have something to do with Joseph Ryan, but that was April of 2018, right? And then she gets away with basically she goes unchecked. Oh, I see movement. The judge came in. Okay, let's see. Wait.
All right, back on the record. State of Arizona versus Lori Daybell, CR 2021-001-704. The parties are present. I'm going to have my staff go ahead and line up the jury to wait in the hallway for a minute.
So yeah, she possibly got away with 2 murders, which is, anyway, justice for Charles and his family.
All right, the jury is present. Please be seated. Do we have a 4-person? Who's the 4-person?
Yes.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, we have.
I'm going to ask you to hand that to my courtroom assistant. I'll ask the clerk to read and record the verdict.
I'm gonna turn him
In the
up.
Superior Court of the State of Arizona in and for the County of Maricopa. State of Arizona versus Lori Daybell. CR 2021-001704-001. Verdict, count 1. We, the jury, duly impaneled and sworn in the above entitled action, upon our oaths, do find the defendant, Lori Daybell, as to the crime of count 1, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder occurring on or about July 11, 2019, guilty.
Woo!
Signed 4-person. Is this your true verdict? So say you one and all.
Yes.
On the court's own motion, I'll go ahead and ask the clerk to poll the jury.
She didn't even
Juror
flinch.
number 1, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 2, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 6, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 7, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 8, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 9, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 10, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 11, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 12, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 13, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 15, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
Juror number 16, is this your true verdict?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to ask the jury to retire to the jury room for just about 2 minutes. I need to discuss something with the parties before we determine whether you're done or not. So the admonition still applies. Please go to the jury room for a few minutes.
All right, for the jury.
Oh, thank goodness. I was worried, guys. But there were a lot of flying monkeys in the chats yesterday. I always get annoyed with those people who are like, oh, well, it could be this, but it's like the totality of it all is screaming guilty. Like, stop picking little pieces apart. I hate it for some reason. I feel they may find her not.
Seated, the
Yeah.
jury is no longer
I
present.
agree. That's Nicole.
I'll ask the defendant, you indicated earlier perhaps a willingness to stipulate to aggravating factors. Is that something you want to do, or do we want to go through this aggravation phase?
I'm willing to stipulate to it, Your Honor. All that it is the dangerous phase. Is that correct? There's only one statute there's only one sentence.
Well, the jury would need to find, first of all, whether or not this is a dangerous offense first. Secondly, whether the offense caused physical, emotional, or financial harm to the victim, or if the victim died as a result of the conduct of the defendant caused emotional or financial harm to the victim's immediate family. And then thirdly, the offense involved the presence of an accomplice. If you're willing to stipulate to all three of those, we can do that. If not, we'll bring the jury back in.
I will stipulate to it, Your Honor.
All right. You understand that if you stipulate to this instead of a jury finding, well, let me back up. You understand the jury would have to find these aggravating factors beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
All right. And do you
Why not
understand
let
that
it
if you
go to the
stipulate to
jury?
these factors, instead of a jury doing it, I could also find additional aggravating factors at sentencing?
Sure.
Has anyone forced you or threatened you in any way to get you to stipulate to these factors?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything to get you to stipulate to these factors?
No.
Have you had any drugs, alcohol, or medication in the last 24 hours?
No.
Do you agree that
Yes.
pursuant to the jury's verdict of guilt, that this would be a dangerous offense because a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument was used?
I'm stipulating to it.
You agree that that's that this is a dangerous offense?
Correct.
And you're further stipulating that as a result of your conduct, at least the victim or the victim's family suffered emotional or financial harm?
Absolutely.
And you're also further agreeing that the offense involved the presence of an accomplice?
Yes.
Is the state satisfied with the
She's
colloquy?
the accomplice. Or I guess she and Alex.
All right, the court does find that the stipulation to those three factors was knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily made. I will accept the defendant's stipulation. At this time, I'm going to bring in the jury and release them from the admonition. Before we do that, well, as my staff's lining up the jury, do you want to have a sentencing date within approximately 30 days, or do you want to wait until after the next trial to be sentenced on this matter?
What does the court prefer?
It doesn't matter to me. Maybe you want to talk to your attorneys or advisory council
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
paperwork to him.
We don't have to do it right now. You can do it in a few minutes.
I think we got rid of him, the not giving him his phone back, Alex being there for protection but being asleep and undressed. There's so much. Wait, who was that? I would Amber, I agree. I wish I could see the jury's faces when they find out. I hope Nate Eaton gets interviews. I also, God bless Kay and Larry. Between Kay and Brandon Boudreaux, they brought all this. They brought the demons to their heels. Sorry, I screamed, you guys. That was not what I was expecting. Oh wait, let's hear. Okay, I'm gonna turn him up because they're saying something. Right, Boondocks, you're right. Let me turn that down so I'm not too loud. Man, I wish I could. Okay, Liberty.
Please be seated. The jury is present again. Members of the jury, you are now released from the admonition. This concludes your jury service. I want to thank you for your jury service in this matter and your attention in this matter. The admonition is lifted, meaning you can talk to anyone about any aspect of this case that you want to at this point, but you also have the right to not talk to anyone about any aspect about this case. I just need to take care of a few more matters, but if you want to wait for me in the jury room, I'd like to thank you personally. And then you can be on your way. If you don't want to wait for me, that's fine as well. But you are released to go at this time. All right, thank you.
All rest of the jury.
I know. Where are her bracelets? Get out there. I hope so too, Liz. That woman, man, Steel Magnolia. Thank you, Purple Irish Sweater. I appreciate you.
All right, please be seated.
I know Kobe is getting
Do you want
closer to
to
closure, at least of dealing
Talk
with
to your advisory
trials.
councils briefly to discuss whether or not you want to proceed to sentencing or wait until after the next trial.
If we could just wait till after the next trial, Your Honor.
Okay. So I'll hold off on ordering a pre-sentence report until we resolve the next remaining case. I've already set the dates and we have a status conference in mid-May on that. So unless there's anything else from the state's perspective, from anything else from your perspective?
Nope.
All right.
You don't
we'll
think
be at
she
recess
knows,
on this.
Kathleen? Wow, guys. Yeah, just take it all at once, because if she did two separate sentencings, I think her ego did not want the jury to go back and think about the aggravating. I mean, if they found her guilty, they're going to find it aggravating, right? Charles was still an income earner for JJ. They don't know JJ is dead, so they would count that against her. But also a provider in general, like he was providing for her family. If his sons needed him, you know, who among us haven't given our adult child some money now and then? You know, when we're gone, we can't do that. So she just stole him from so many people who loved him, all so she could get some money. You guys, if you have to, oh wait, what's he saying? I'm too nosy. They should shut it all the way off. Oh, okay. I'm like, I heard something. Okay, that's the Idaho news feed. They're shutting it down. Crazy. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to move them over there in case anybody comes back in. That is a huge relief. Yeah, I wonder if she knows that, which is good. I mean, so then even if for some odd reason her Idaho stuff gets appealed, she's doing this time. Do you know it not gets appealed, has a successful outcome for her on appeal? Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think Brandon was, I mean, because they already took the shot at him, right? Pretend judge. They gave Alex missed, and then Lori was PO'd about it. Brandon was on the list. We know Adam's son, Zach, was on the list. I don't know if we confirmed Adam was on there. Yeah, this was better than Boone. Because I felt like for sure when they came back so quick with Boone, this one was making me nervous, and all the flying monkeys yesterday. I have to stop getting worked up. Someone did that in Charlie Adelson's verdict watch too, and I was like, please get out of the chat. And yesterday I hopped around. Yeah, thank God for Adam. Adam was the only one in the family who stood by. Oh, let me kill the audio on this. Oh no, wait, Nate's outside. Hold on. Let's go back. Oh my God. Okay. I've been watching Nate all day in the morning, and he's cool. And now his camera feed guy can go home tomorrow. Wow. Yeah, it's just Adam stood up to his family, which was nice. What bothers me is that the rest of the family turned their back on Charles, but they were still accepting his money, you know, for their cell phones or whatever else. watching the playback of his mother's closing statement. Oh wow. Yeah, and then there was even people like victim blaming these guys in the chat. I was just like, we're out in all forces. She should be. How does that reconcile with her beliefs if she's found guilty? Like, isn't she exalted? Shouldn't like her higher power come in and swoop and save her? Or if they don't save her from that, save her from punishment? Oh, all the news crews are getting out of here. It's the pool feed. I see Fox 10, so Justin is probably out there. KSL is the NBC.
Anything you'd like to say?
Is that the jury? Or a juror?
Yes, okay.
Is it just me, or did anyone else get flashbacks of Dragnet when they would read out the outcome? Yes. It was like slow for dramatic effect or something. That's funny. Nate Eaton, yeah, I agree. My favorite has been Nate. I mean, I've watched Hidden True Crime as well. I'm new to them. I had seen Nate earlier. I just his morning chats with us. He's so down to earth. I feel like some of the large channels are just I don't want to say it like just for the views, but sometimes they don't have all the facts right and they pretend that they do. Like if I don't know something, I have no shame saying I don't know it. But sometimes, Court TV and Wrong Crime sometimes get it wrong, which is crazy because they have like such a big team. But anyway. But I love the deep dives that both Nate and Hidden True Crime, and I've been back binge watching. Like, there's just been a lot. Nate had a Melanie Boudreau / Pulowski with her husband Ian. That interview they had before the kids were found, and she's sticking up for her. I saw footage of Melanie Pulowski outside of Brandon Boudreau's house trying to get the kids, and the police had to escort her off and told her she had been trespassed. So like all the kind of nitty gritty. The phone call from the landlord was on Nate's channel. The phone call from Alex's ex-wife, who was talking about like the simulated sex between Alex and Lori. I wonder if Alex and Lori acted that way around Chad. Because if so, right, if they thought nothing was wrong with it, that might have also sped up Alex's untimely demise. He's only one right now, so I figure once he turns 2, we'll stop having his face on there. But he's gonna change. He still has his baby face, Why doesn't this thing move my face when I have that? We'll do this. I keep coming back to one ugly fact. You emptied it? That was an old school whiteout strip. I don't need it anymore, though. If the Arizona cops had listened to Charles and not been charmed by Lori, no one ever had to die. It's so sad. I agree. I don't feel like they even took his claims seriously. Like even the thing, it annoys me that what's her name, Inkland, didn't ask to see the text because then that would have squashed it, right? Like what threatening text? These aren't threatening. He's saying you might get visitation, but had they looked into it, they would see that he always. I don't know what it's called in Idaho, or not Idaho, in Arizona, but it basically like a 5150 where she had a mental health hold or what they call a Baker Act. He had that on there and nobody seemed to be taking it seriously. Like, oh, he's bothering me. But I think also because he appeared older, they probably thought, oh, he's got a younger wife. And you know what I mean? Like it was so many factors at play. Like why didn't they research it? Why didn't they download Alex's phone? But I'm glad the jury saw through the difference of like lack of investigation versus lack of evidence, because you can't get away from she had 3 phones and didn't bother to call 911. If Charles is so dangerous, why didn't you call? You didn't see the shot. How do you know Alex didn't miss? And then they're wrestling for the gun, It just didn't make sense. I mean, shortly after Alex called her and she knew Alex was alive. So then why didn't she call 911? It just like the totality of it. Just why are you messing with. We'll wait for a little bit longer. I just want to see if someone's gonna come up. I really hope they get a juror. Let Kay rest. Like, let her go home. She will probably get a really, really good night's sleep. Yes, yes, he did. It seemed like the second one on this one had a little in that answer too. So I heard a lot of people were upset about was it juror 4 or 5, whichever the first alternate was released, like the older man. I mean, now I know there were 2 men, but the bearded man, they said that he took like copious notes, was paying attention, really wanted to do it. So I'm sure he's happy that they came to this. I know, Kelly. I did it last minute because I was just getting home. Kathy sent me a thing. Verdict is in. They're waiting on the family. Like, I was on the bus. I had to go to Whole Foods with Sugar Bear, and I was like, "It's not in. I'm gonna go live. I need to talk to somebody." And I didn't like. There's some weird chats going on. I know, which is crazy. Like, she's saying things like she doesn't need to repent, right, Pamela? And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna stick with her, and we're still gonna take his money." And did they meet him? That's what I wanted to know. When Chad came out and stayed in the house that Charles paid for, with Lori, did the family meet him? Chad just looks like a big booger to me. Remember from Weird Science, Chet? What was his when Bill? I think it was Bill Patterson when he turned. I think he was just a giant booger. That's what Chad looks like to me. Like, ugh. Even in hearing his mumbling on the phone, like calling the funeral, he doesn't sound charismatic or anything. What did she see in him? Because he gave her powers? Okay, that's a news reporter hiking down her dress. I heard it was 71 degrees there. Sounds lovely. Oh, that's Joe Schmo, right? He's the one that does Child TV Live. They do the collab at night. Come on. But remember, the judge also said he wanted to talk to the jurors, so we're waiting on them. He's probably thanking them. And do you think he's going to drop the Tylee, JJ, and Tammy fate? Because they know Chad has a wife, because that was Charles told Tammy, told Chad, hey, I know what you and my wife are up to, and letting Tammy know, like, your man is dibbling his dabble over here with my wife. And then the next time he saw her, he was killed. Why up? Up where? Okay. Okay. Hold on. Oh, she's got Fox 10. Where's Justin?
I sure do. Do you guys have me? I sure am.
Why would she stand there in front of the pool feed instead of just taking her Fox 10 camera off somewhere? Does she have an interview with someone we're going to see? Okay.
Hey there, John and Christina. Well, after several days of testimony and about 3 hours of deliberation, it all came down to one word. The jury said they reached a verdict, and it was read in front of everyone in the courtroom. Guilty. Now, I was able to watch some of the expressions of jurors when they came into that room, and I noticed that none of them looked into the direction of Lori Vallow Daybell. And I also noticed as they were walking outside of the courtroom that a few of the jurors actually looked in the direction of Woodcock, which is the sister of Charles Vallow. Now, if you recall, this is a case, an ongoing years saga involving murder, marriage, and extreme religious beliefs. Prosecutors say that it was Lori Vallow Daybell, along with her brother Alex, who's now dead, who plotted to kill Charles, her then husband, back in 2019. They said the main motives involved money, Charles' life insurance policy, marriage. Lori wanted to marry Chad Daybell, and of course, their religious beliefs as well. Now, there was a lot of evidence the jury couldn't hear in this case, including the fact that Lori has already been convicted for killing 2 of her children. But despite that, the jury still came back and they said that there was enough evidence to convict Lori in this case. Another twist was Lori herself was her own defendant. She did not take the stand in her own defense, and she did not put up any witnesses either. We were able to speak, I believe, to one of the jurors, one of our reporters here at Fox 10, Kenji Beach. She's also here, so can't wait to hear their insights to all of this. But it is finally over after all of these days and all of this testimony, guys. Yeah, so we don't have too many members of the public. Those who were interested were inside of the courtroom today, but we are expecting to hear from family members of Charles, specifically Charles' sister, Kay Woodcock. If you remember, she's also the grandmother of JJ, who was also killed. She's expected to speak with us in just a few minutes, so we're going to have even more coverage of this. A lot to break down and talk about right here at Fox 10, live at 5:30 and throughout the rest of the evening.
Let me turn this down so I don't blast you. Okay, so it sounds like they did confirm with Kay Woodcock. I'm so happy for her. Oh my goodness, what a long time coming.
Yeah, well, first of all, Lori Vallow would have to admit that she is not a good attorney. And I think that with Lori's arrogance, that's probably not something she would do. That's probably a step with her personality. But aside from that, I think that's going to be super, super difficult. We probably have to speak to someone like Benjamin Taylor, who's been doing a fantastic job on the panelist, for Justin Lum as he continues to break down this. However, I do think she was warned of the risks of doing this ahead of time. So that would be very, very difficult to come about and say otherwise at this point.
Asking how your brother's doing, since he was the one that got injured during it too. She didn't do any of that. She already knew it happened, and she just went with it like that.
Did you want her to testify?
I guess, I don't know. Yes, seeing Charles's sister's reaction when they did say she pled guilty was really relieving. It made all of us feel really good that they got justice.
Can we get your first and last name?
Natasha Smith,
Natasha Smith.
also known as Tosh Reed Tucker, though.
Tosh Reed Tucker.
Yes.
Can you spell that?
TASS, and then my last name is Reed Tucker, REED-Tucker.
I'm guessing she's
Okay, so you just heard a little bit there from this juror named Natasha, and nonchalant. It was brought up. Taylor, what are your thoughts hearing that? It's fascinating every time we hear from a juror, but just fresh out of the verdict reading.
I mean, it's kind of what we've all thought and talked about from the beginning, the lack of emotion, the just kind of nonchalant behavior. It doesn't matter what kind of emotions Lori tried to inject during the trial. It's those body cam footage. It's the interview footage right after, the death of her husband. it speaks louder than anything. You know, she can't manipulate her way. She can't try to explain her way out of that. You know, like I said earlier, that to me shows premeditation, like Natasha just touched on. It was like, you know, she already knew what happened when she got back to the scene because that was part of the plan.
Now, I think she's still talking. So, oh, okay, never mind. I wanted some more. I wanted a little bit more, but we'll see what the feed brings in later. Obviously, camera crews are out there, reporters, and just a live look right now. Robert, Rem 14 outside the courthouse, just outside the steps there. We are waiting to hear from family members. I know Kay Woodcock has told me that she wants to speak to the media briefly. This is a big weight off her shoulders, fighting for justice for Charles. But you guys know this. Not only was she fighting for Charles, but she was fighting for JJ and Tylee. But I think specifically JJ, you have this grandmother, biological grandmother, who trusted Lori Vallow Daybell, of course, trusted her brother Charles to adopt him and take him in. Okay, it looks like we have another juror. Let's go to Rem 13.
Yes. Okay.
When you went into deliberation, were you still unsure?
Well, I was unsure up until yesterday, really. And then through deliberation, I mean,
Do they
that's
know
whole
about the
purpose
dead
of it is,
people?
you know, to bring out the evidence and talk about every facet of it that we can understand. So, yeah, that's yesterday I was still on the fence.
Was it just maybe the magnitude of how big this decision was, or maybe the lack of evidence, the missing pieces? What was it?
For me, it was, where is the proof of conspiracy? You know, I mean, the bullet's over there, the bat's over there, there's a hole there, you know, none of that has anything to do with conspiracy. It has everything to do with Alex shot him. All right. So my big thing was, if you're going to say something, how does that go along with the conspiracy to commit murder? That was my big thing. And like I said, it was the text that threw me.
Was there a specific text message?
There were two specific ones, but I'm not sure I should talk about them.
Yeah. And
Yes, you should talk about it.
A lot of this evidence too. Does that make that any different for you, or no?
Can you tell me what evidence you saw on the text messages? There was one that had something to do with insurance. That was one of them. And the other one was basically the Nephi thing. So.
Now that you know that so many people that were talked about in this case are dead, did you know that originally, or that's what you're?
I had never heard of Lori Daybell before I got picked for this jury. I've never, because I watch Fox News, but I don't watch Fox News 10. I watch Fox News because I like the different shows that are on it. But I don't watch NBC or CBS or anything like that. So I didn't know. No, I had no idea of any of it.
Now when you're realizing the magnitude of this case, what's kind of
That's Kinsey.
It's just, wow. That's all I can say. It's huge.
I think that's Justin and those guys in the studio with their mic hot.
You know, I feel sorry for her. You know, I mean, driving home yesterday, I was like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison in a cell. You know, I mean, you got to feel sorry for her, even though, I mean, that's awful thing to do. I mean,
did he say driving home yesterday?
Still, you know, you just feel awful.
He knew yesterday?
And you said it was the text messages that really changed it for you. You were confident in that decision going forward.
Absolutely confident. Once we talked about those particular text messages, absolutely confident.
Y'all heard that, right?
So you said it was the text message about the insurance, and then the one where she said that his soul is already dead or something along those lines.
No, it was the kind of like everything's coming to a head. Soon you'll be Nephi, and so will I. That was one of the texts. And then the other one was, he changed the beneficiary basically before we got to him, before we made him gone. So that was the other one.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you. Nice to meet you.
Where's the bus?
Okay, so some very good insight there. The text messages. This juror says it was the text messages, the talk about Nephi. Judge Mel, you talked about all of the smoking guns. Your reaction to this juror?
That Alex had died. Lori Vallow Daybell said that in her opening argument. What they didn't know is how he died or how he played into this, at least at the beginning of the trial. They later learned that he was actively involved in this, as he was Lori.
Just really fast, does that put anything at jeopardy with the guy saying he felt sorry for her driving home yesterday, thinking about the dead children? Who told him yesterday? They've been admonished each time. Okay, let's get back to Nate. Whoa.
Lori Vallow's co-conspirator. So we will play those juror interviews for you tonight. For now, Lori Vallow is on her way back to the jail where she will prepare for her next trial, which is scheduled to begin the first 2 weeks of June. She's facing a charge of conspiracy to commit the murder of Brandon Boudreaux, her former nephew-in-law. He was married to her niece, Melanie, when he was driving home from the gym in 2019, and he was shot at the first week of October. He was shot at, busted out his window of his car. He was not hit. He was not injured or killed. Well, Lori faces charges in connection to that crime. And she, again, plans to represent herself with advisory counsel. And that trial is expected to last 2 to 3 weeks. Trina Kay says that some witnesses will be coming from out of state, most likely from Idaho, perhaps some of the investigators there. This trial, we did not hear from anybody in Idaho. It was solely focused on investigators here in Arizona, firefighters, police officers, the medical examiner, the Department of Public Safety. Those were the people who testified in this trial, along with people who knew Lori Vallow well, who were friends with her, along with a woman who went on a date with Charles Vallow the night before he was shot and killed, and he told her a lot of stuff. They had texted back and forth for hours. Those are the people we heard from in this trial, and those are the people who these jurors heard from that led to the led to the guilty verdict. So we're out here outside the courthouse. A lot of media. It's getting warm. It looks like there are some jurors getting back on the jury bus, and it looks like one of the jurors almost missed the bus. So they were hanging. See you later. Good to seeing you. Okay, so the jurors are getting on the bus. I don't know if you can show that, Jordan, or is that out of your shot? Okay, well, yeah, it's a bus. It's the bus, and the jurors are getting on the bus, and they do not have to return tomorrow. They reached their verdict, as I said, in a little less than 3 hours. The sentence that Lori Daybell could get for these crimes, 25 years to life in prison. Once she is sentenced here in Idaho, she will immediately return back to once she is sentenced here in Arizona, she will immediately return back to Idaho, where she will serve her 3 life sentences in Pocatello Women's Correctional Center. That is where she will spend the rest of her life, regardless of the outcomes here in Arizona. She is technically an Idaho inmate. She was found guilty of those crimes first. She was extradited here for her sentences or for her crimes here, and then she will return back to Idaho as soon as we have that. Kay Woodcock's coming. I'm going to get my mic on the stand. Right up there to the mics, please.
Hold my purse.
Great.
No, that's
I'm sure that everyone has heard by now that Lori Daybell was convicted in the first degree conspiracy to commit murder against my brother Charles. And it was a relief, a long journey, and I'm just glad it's over with. I really am. My whole family is, my sisters. And I just want to thank everybody, the Arizona Prosecutor's Office, Trina Kay, and everyone else that was here and got us through it all. Our court advocates and the whole 9 yards. Today's a good day. We won.
Were you worried, Jerry? jury might come back with a not guilty at all, or were you pretty confident?
I had a little concern, but when it came back so quick, I pretty much knew that it was done. Nate. So
What did you think of her demeanor during trial?
I thought she was kind of a smarty pants, not real. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I know which one I would use.
But he can't on
I
broadcast
know which
TV.
one I would use, but so anyway.
What did you think of her lawyering skills?
I thought she sucked.
She got the lawyer she deserved.
Do you think she did herself any favors by being her own attorney?
Probably not. I'm sure the first day into the trial, she wished she would have had an attorney.
You think?
A real attorney. Right.
Did you look at her when the verdict was read?
I could see the back of her head.
And what was there? Did you have any reaction? Did she have any reaction?
I couldn't see, but she didn't shake her head or that I saw. So.
Okay, what did you think looking at her?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Come on, Kay, your turn.
I just saw the back of her head too. I couldn't see anything, and she didn't. A lot of times during court, she'd shake her head no when she didn't agree with something being said, or she would just shake her head no, and she didn't shake her head no. So I guess that means she really did do it.
She seemed to,
Oh, okay. Sorry.
She seemed to really have a visceral.
3 lifetimes.
That's
Hold
what
up.
I heard.
And then when you were on the stand, what was that moment like for you?
I didn't know that she was that shaken by me being there. And then when I got off the stand, I really didn't even know what I said. And then once Jerry and my sister Susan and our friend Laura Ferris and who else was right there? And Colby was right there. And they were like, "You did so good. She was shaking like a leaf when you."
Really fast. So, Amy, I think oh no. Even though this was after, it's still prior bad acts, like outside of this act, right? I don't think they can admit the other, but I could be wrong.
And I was like, "What? No way!" And it was, the more I thought about it, I was like,
How you feeling?
Great. So that I saw.
that she was that shaken by me being there. And then when I got off the stand, I really didn't even know what I said. And then once Jerry and my sister Susan and our friend Laura Ferris and who else was right there? And Colby was right there. And they were like, "You did so good. She was shaking like a leaf when you," and I was like, "What? No way." And it was, the more I thought about it, I was like, "Yeah, okay. That's all I needed to know." That made my day. That of all the people she should be shaking for, and she was shaking about me. Good. I was very pleased.
When the verdict was read as guilty.
What
did you feel?
Oh, just 6 years of walking the pits of hell every day. And about halfway through, I realized, okay, I'm going to make it through. But it was a long time.
Elation.
It was a long time before I got to that point. But it's still difficult, but it's okay. I'm ready to move on. It's time. We've got a 10-year-old granddaughter we're raising now, and I've got my hands full, and I'm real happy to be being her grandma. So
After 6 years, does it feel real after 6 long years of walking through hell, as you mentioned?
yes, it feels real, because for about 3 years I didn't feel anything. I was totally just didn't feel anything, numb. Then I started feeling.
Justice for Charles.
Yes, and
Thank you,
this
Bossy
the
Tuba.
order in which it's happened. You know, this was the first incident, the first murder, and then then everything up in Idaho. And then so Charles would have wanted, take care of Tammy and the kids first and get to me when they're ready. And so he would have been, he's fine. He's fine. And I know that he's pleased with us. And excuse me, there was a bug. I know he's pleased with us. And I feel I feel good.
We had a juror tell us that your testimony stuck with them, and they even saw you after and felt like there was justice for your brother. What does that mean to hear that?
Great. I whatever I said, I struck a chord, and that's what I wanted to do. That's what I was trying to do, and I'm grateful. I mean, hey, the Lord gave us. Well, this was thrust upon us, and our lives just went into a like a tornado for a long time, and then getting to say things in the first two trials, and then getting to speak about Charles finally, because he's been so silent. And I mean, it's just been silent where he's at. I know people thought we forgot about him, and no way, and but law enforcement never stopped. Like Lori said, they didn't stop because I was right there behind with law enforcement here in Arizona, talking and saying, "What's going on now? Tell me." I was in contact with them nonstop, so I knew at some point, it was going to happen, and then all
Same.
the other stuff, and just. I'm just glad we got to. I'm just glad this is done. Now we just have to get justice for Brandon, and I will be back. I can't stay the whole time for his, but I will stay as long as I can, kind of more towards the end of it, I guess, and because then it will truly be over. I say I've still got a little bit left before I can close my book, but when that's over, then I can close my book.
Hey, Kay, I don't know if you noticed, I saw two jurors look at you as they were walking out. Did you notice that at all?
No, I didn't. I watched them walk in because I know that if they look at you when they're walking in, that's a good sign. And nobody looked at me, but I didn't see, so I didn't watch them walk out. I didn't think to look. So good.
When Lori
If
raised aggravation, what'd you think?
I really couldn't hear her because that baby talk she does, that baby voice. She needs to lose that, man. I hope she grows up in prison and learns how to talk like a woman, and not a baby. But anyway,
One of the jurors, the woman with the long hair, she said that she really just wanted to give you a hug. She's like, afterwards, I really just wanted to give her a hug. Just tell her sorry.
in Idaho, all the jurors I've met from up there, from both trials there, that was the one thing they were like, I just wanted to hug you. I just wanted to hug you. So I hope I get to meet her. I hope she reaches out to me. Nate, if anybody calls you, give them my number, and just make sure they're a real juror. And I want to talk to them. Absolutely.
I was going to say, Kay, I'm wondering if there's anything you'd say to Lori at this point.
We got you, and you're not the smartest person in the room, and now it's time for you just to hide away. And well, after Brandon's trial, but you can just hide away, and everybody's going to forget about you. We'll be on our way through our life, and she'll be rotting in prison where she deserves to be.
And like Charles always used to say, love always wins.
Yeah.
So.
And thank you for saying that. Yeah, love always wins was Charles's thing, and yeah, so it does.
She described this as a family tragedy.
That is absurd. That was
when you heard that mantra over and over again.
And calling Charles my husband, whom she was hated at the time, whom she was ready to kill him. you know, it's like that just shows you what she's an actress. She turns on this persona and goes with it, and then boom, she turns it off, and then there's the real her, whatever the real her is. I sure never knew her.
Tell us a little bit, just for me, about Charles. You know, let's bring it back to him and his legacy.
Hey, you want to take that one?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
If you could just
Tell
tell us a
them
little
about
bit
Charles.
about Charles and his legacy and how you want us to think
Well,
about him.
he was my big brother. You know, I followed in his footsteps. I did everything he did. He was only a year and 2 months older than me. So we hung around a lot. We had a lot of the same friends. He was a big influence in my life. And he was just a good dude. He was all the way from a kid till when she killed him. So, you know.
What did it mean to hug Trina K at the end? What did that feel like? You hear the verdict and then give her a hug.
Well, I hugged her and told her I loved her because she did such a great job. And it felt good. It did.
And she did do a great job. And all the detectives and everybody that has worked on this case, from Nicole Byer to she's our victim advocate, and Trina and Nate Duncan and all the detectives that have come, and even we had a few visitors from Idaho that came, and that was welcome. And I got a thank you from not a thank you, I got a congratulations from Rob Wood, from the prosecutor in Idaho a while ago. And we lost some dear family. We lost a lot, but we have gained family as well. So, you know, there's the silver lining. And even in the worst times of your life, there is something good there. You just take sometimes a little while to find it. But y'all, we're dying here.
And so,
Susan, do you want
Lauren,
to say anything?
It looks hot. Oh my God. Get a hat.
and as a parting shot, they got the bitch again. Thanks, y'all.
I know that's right. Oh my
Thank y'all.
goodness. Does anyone remember his name? Was it Gary? I know she talked about him playing baseball when Charles played. Oh my goodness. I cannot. Okay, let's hear this again. Because if they decided last night, then that makes sense. About but she was only charged with one thing, right? I only heard one guilty verdict here. You guys let me know.
Or when you went into deliberation, were you still unsure?
Well, I was unsure up until yesterday, really. And then through deliberation, I mean, that's the whole purpose of it, is, you know, to bring out the evidence and talk about every facet of it that we can understand. So, yeah, that's yesterday I was still on the fence.
Was it just maybe the magnitude of how big this decision was, or maybe the lack of evidence, the missing pieces? What was it?
For me, it was, where is the proof of conspiracy? You know, I mean, the bullet's over there, the bat's over there, there's a hole there, you know, none of that has anything to do with conspiracy. It has everything to do with Alex shot him. All right. So my big thing was, if you're going to say something, how does that go along with the conspiracy to commit murder? That was my big thing. And like I said, it was the text that threw me.
Was there a specific text message?
There were two specific ones, but I'm not sure I should talk about them.
Yeah. And we've seen, you know.
I thought she stipulated to the aggravated part, like she needed the guilty, and then okay, I gotta go back and watch that. I misunderstood because okay, let me. All right. Hold on.
A lot of this evidence too. Does that make that any different for you, or no?
Can you tell me what evidence you saw on the text messages?
Um,
There was one that had something to do with insurance. That was one of them. And the other one was basically the Nephi thing. So.
Now that you know that so many people that were talked about in this case are dead, did you know that originally, or that's what you're
I had never heard of Lori Daybell before I got picked for this jury. I've never, because I watch Fox News, but I don't watch Fox News 10. I watch Fox News because I like the different shows that are on it. But I don't watch NBC or CBS or anything.
That's what I thought, Sarah. It was just the one, and then they were going to add aggravated because how his death impacted other members of his family.
Like that. So I didn't know. No, I had no idea of any of it.
Well, the jury would get to decide on aggravated.
That's Kinsey.
It's just, wow. That's all I can say. Just, it's huge.
Yeah. Do you remember your reaction learning that she has been convicted in killing her 2 children?
You know, I feel sorry for her. You know, I mean, driving home yesterday, I'm just like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison in a cell. You know, I mean, you got to feel sorry for her, even though, I mean, that's awful thing to do. I mean, she's just something.
Yeah, he said, I feel sorry for her. Driving home last night, she's got to spend 3 lives in prison. Did someone else hear that differently? He shouldn't have known last night. Let me just play it one more time. I'll be quiet. You guys, I can't hear you.
There was one that had something to do with insurance that was one of them, and the other one was basically kind of like everything's coming to a head. Soon you'll be Nephi and so will I. That was one of the texts. And then the other one was he changed the beneficiary basically before we got to him, before we made him gone. So that was the other one.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate you. Nice to meet you.
Of course, the bus.
There was one that had something to do with insurance that was one of them, and the other one was basically well, I was insuring up until yesterday, really. And then through deliberation, I mean, that's the whole purpose of it, is, you know, to bring out the evidence and talk about every facet of it that we can understand. So, yeah, that's yesterday I was still on the fence.
Was it just maybe the magnitude of how big this decision was, or maybe the lack of evidence, the missing pieces? What was it?
For me, it was, where is the proof of conspiracy? You know, I mean, the bullet's over there, the bat's over there, there's a hole there, you know, none of that has anything to do with conspiracy. It has everything to do with Alex shot him. All right. So my big thing was, if you're going to say something, how does that go along with the conspiracy to commit murder? That was my.
Yvonne, if he's saying 3 lifetimes, he's saying she has to spend 3 lifetimes in prison, is what he said. And at the beginning, he said he never heard of her before this trial. So he's found that information out. I mean, I'm not wishing for, I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to make sure we're all on the same page.
Big thing. And like I said, it was the text that threw me.
Was there a specific text message?
There were 2 specific ones, but I'm not sure I should talk about them.
Yeah. And because we've seen, you know, a lot of this evidence too. Does that make that any different for you, or no?
Can you tell me what evidence you saw on the text messages? There was one that had something to do with insurance that was one of them, and the other one was basically the Nephi thing. So.
Now that you know that so many people that were talked about in this case are dead, did you know that originally, or that's what you're?
I had never heard of Lori Daybell before I got picked for this jury. I've never, because I watch Fox News, but I don't watch Fox News 10. I watch Fox News because I like the different shows that are on it. But I don't watch NBC or CBS or anything like that. So I didn't know. No, I had no idea of any of
Now, when you're realizing the magnitude of this case, what's kind of
That's Kinsey.
It's just wow. That's all I can say. Just it's huge.
Yeah. Do you remember your reaction learning that she has been convicted in killing her 2 children?
You know, I feel sorry for her. You know, I mean, driving home yesterday, I was like, God, she's spending the next 3 lives in prison in a cell. You know, I mean, you got to feel sorry for her, even though I mean that's awful
Whoa.
thing to do. I mean, there's something wrong up there, but
What do you say?
still, you know, you just feel awful about it. But
And you said it was the text messages that really changed it for you. You were confident in that decision going forward.
absolutely confident. Once we talked about those particular text messages, absolutely confident, 100%.
So you said it was the text message about the insurance, and then the one where she said that his soul is already dead or something along those lines.
So I just want to be clear, Mason. You're saying, oh my God, people can be jurors and no info about the case. Yes. And they have to disclose that at the beginning. And then they are asked if they are still impartial. What this man just said is he never heard of Lori Daybell before this trial. And then he said, driving home last night, I felt sorry for her. I was thinking, man, she's going to spend 3 lifetimes in prison. So from the start of the trial, when he said he knew nothing about her until, am I yelling? Is that why you're yelling? Until last night, he's acquired that information since he's been on the jury, but they were admonished every time they left that they're not to discuss the case. So he shouldn't have learned it from another juror. He's not to be on social media. I'm not saying this is going to change anything, but he clearly did not follow the judge's directions, and he just said it on, well, at least on YouTube. That's all. So I'm pretty sure Nate talked about it this morning or yesterday morning on his stream because someone asked him if any. Yeah, you can know. That's 1,000% right. Before the trial, you are not to learn any information during the trial. You are told every day to not look anything up. You can't even talk to your fellow jurors about the case until the case is handed over to you. It's a little. Maybe he shouldn't be doing interviews.
Well, no, it was the
It's technically jury misconduct.
kind of like everything's coming to a head. Soon you'll be Nephi, and so will I. That was one of the texts, and then the other one was
We got the verdict. Let's just go with that.
he changed the beneficiary basically before we got.
Oh, that's a good point. They could have discussed it at that point.
That was the other one.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. Nice to meet you.
This is an excellent point because others could have known about it before and then talked about it while they were deliberating. So maybe that's I don't know. Now I'm like, they shouldn't. Yeah, he could have found out while they were talking about it. Because I guess then you're not admonished. You can talk about whatever you know. But it's not supposed to prejudice you. So, I mean, it sounds like he still needed people to talk him into it because he said at the top he wasn't buying like the conspiracy. So, yeah. What did they have, like 19 minutes yesterday? What was their total deliberation time? Does anyone know? I do like hearing what they're thinking. Had the verdict. A lot of people were saying they probably had it and then they wanted to, like, in that 19 minutes and then they wanted to come back. But it sounds like there were 2 holdouts. So maybe they convinced them yesterday or maybe they came back. Yeah, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad we got the verdict. And now we kind of know what the delay was. Although I don't think it was that big of a delay of them talking about it, right? And talking, 19 minutes yesterday. So a total of 3 hours and some minutes, Mammy Bell, under 3 hours, someone saying. I'm just glad it's over, guys. Like I was getting nervous today. And I'm happy for Kay and her family. And I love that she says Charles would have wanted Tammy and the kids to go first. Like true Southern gentleman to the end. I see you too. Karen says 2 hours, 57 minutes. Okay, I'm going to run because clearly the boss has spoken and we have other things to do. But I appreciate all of you guys hanging here. And I greatly appreciate all of us like respectfully disagreeing, or not even, we weren't even disagreeing, but sorting it out and not being snarky. I'm telling you, I was in so many crazy chats yesterday where people were just like, going at each other. Yeah, but anyway, thank you all for being here. Justice for Charles. Now we've got to get it for Brandon. Yes, if the Brandon Boudreaux trial overlaps with Donna, I'm definitely covering Donna. I saw you guys are saying they're trying to get Everett recused. I saw there was a bunch of like emails that the state dumped on them, so I'm going to catch up on that. That'll be my next video, is Donna Adelson. I have some of her jail reports, like calls and stuff, so I'll have all that in there. I don't think it prejudiced him. I actually think it may have won him the other way. Yeah, maybe because he felt sorry for her, right? Maybe he was just like, yikes. I mean, he said there's something wrong in the head, which I was wondering if they were going to come to that conclusion, because they're like, well, she is representing herself. But yeah, when Lori and Sarah names are barely remembered. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks for being here. Thanks, everybody. I'm excited for the Woodcocks, for the Vallows, for everybody involved. I hope you guys have a good night. I'm sure I'll see you in some other chats, because as soon as I get him sorted, I'll probably be on Child TV Live and see what Joe Schmo and the Squeegee of Justice have to say. So I'll see you around these YouTube streets later tonight. Toodles.